unemployment of youth is a very bad problem, because not only are there some people that you could have been using to contribute to society in the short run, but you end up possibly with a generation of people who don't in their formative years get job skills, learn how to go. They're going to end up being 30, not have the experience. Essentially, also research has shown that people who start their job market career in a recession for the rest of their lives will have lower income than people who started in the peak. Mm-hmm. So that's a problem and does deserve attention. Now the question is, what should the Commission do? So I'm certainly not a fan of the government creating jobs, but what they can do is to create kind of pointing towards light at the end of the tunnel, pointing towards reasons why people should be investing, why people should be confident to do business, why people should be starting businesses, to show that it's indeed possible. And I really think that the continuous talk of crisis generates an atmosphere where people are afraid to go out and do things, start companies, hire people.
What does it mean to go out? Does it mean to travel more through the Europe to find the new possibilities in other countries?
Partly it's traveling, partly it's also just exploring the opportunities in your own area. So if you're in a country and you are young and you look around you and you see people without opportunities, you'd start wondering, well, what's missing here? What is it that and really this is, partly this is a change in attitude. It used to be, where can I get a job? Who can give me work to do? Instead of asking, what is it that I can do for society? Because that really is the basis of a job. That is the basis of running a business, that you're thinking, what can I do to someone else that they're willing to let me do that for them?
But you need the money in that moment.
Well, there's plenty of money. You're unemployed. That doesn't mean there's plenty of money. People have safety nets. You've got your family. People have friends. People get unemployment insurance. People have. It's not that people are that starving. You don't also need that much money to start something. You can start small. But it is an attitude change. Instead of, I think, going forward, instead of thinking who is going to hire me, it is what do I have to offer to other people.
So we are basically talking about startups too.
Partly startups, yes.
What should be the role of the state or even EU institutions? Should they create a special programs which should be easily attended by those startups or something?
Again, what the government mostly can do is to make sure that you take away the barriers and the time wasters for the startups. So if someone wants to start, you're here with a camera, you're making video things, essentially this is publishable because you can put it on the web, and the money you make is limited only by how many people want to see this. Right? That's really the limitation. So it's for you to think, who would want to see this, how can I bring that out? The problem is, once you start that business, you need to get licenses. You probably need to find an office space. You need to make sure that your office space isn't your house, because often you're not allowed to run a business from your house. The minute you want to hire your first employee, you have to start thinking about legal limitations and Social Security payments. And all these things, for a small business, take an inordinate amount of effort. And the role, I think, of the government is to reduce that effort, to make that easier. Now, one thing they could do is, in an urban setting, provide a building with low rent where a group of entrepreneurs can get together.
Like a co-share spaces.
And co-share spaces and co-share some legal advice and co-share business coaching, co-share writing a business plan, thinking about how to do this. And you can think about something like that in a lot of different areas, not just the internet type businesses, but also doing anything for anyone. A laundry service is still very feasible. Nowadays, if I'm at work, I can send a message with my smartphone that my laundry is ready, and you can come pick it up, and you can send me a message saying, are you available to deliver it at your house? You can have a network of delivery people. It's not very high tech, but it uses a little bit of technology, smartphone, which nowadays most young people have some form of phone. You could do, and that's not high tech. It's delivering a service that wasn't there before.
So it's not about finding some specific kind of business in IT or something like that.
I don't think so. I think there's
innovative potential.
There's a lot of innovative potential. You don't have to become very rich to start with, but in the Netherlands a few years ago, there were some people looking at business suits and seeing, well, the expensive business suits are very expensive. The other stuff comes from China and is badly made. But can't we harness technology? And they started a place where the consumer could come in. They got measured. They got shown electronic photos. And then, indeed, the production was done offshore. They know that this concept has turned a lot of local tailors, made them bankrupt. What was less high-tech than a local tailor shop? And yet, someone producing suits grows like crazy because they're delivering a service that the old service providers weren't capable or willing or thinking about serving.
But actually your professional experience comes also from your stay at MIT in America. What do the Americans better that they attract so many young people coming there to make a new startups?
Well, so the university, the universities certainly were good. I mean, I have no complaints about MIT. Once there, you're also surrounded by people who are continually, just debating and discussing. So yes, of course, we had our student time fun, but we also, discussed whether when you run through a rainstorm, whether you get less wet than when you walk through a rainstorm. We were always inquisitive and curious, and that also involved business startups. I think out of that university, in the last 20 years, probably the GDP of a few states have been covered by the students from that one university alone, let alone dropouts from Harvard who are more famous in this business. So what they do there, I don't know. I think it's bringing together people to connect. Now the nice thing with technology now, bringing people to connect doesn't necessarily need to happen physically. So there's no reason that people in Lisbon or in Prague couldn't create networks of enthusiastic people looking forward of what they want to do in life. I think the time of waiting for someone to give you a job, it's about time that that's over.